Hello everybody and welcome back to Comet Sighted, the little series I'm doing where we discuss the Dev Diaries for Imperator Rome, however you would like to pronounce it. Today we are on Dev Diary number 11 from the 6th of August, 2018. Hello everyone and welcome to another Dev Diary for, I really want to say Imperator because that's how I've always pronounced it, but a lot of people have been telling me the correct pronunciation is Imperator, but I don't know which is right. Today we delve into what we call unit abilities and also show off some interesting and fun modding techniques. What we call unit abilities in Imperator can be one of three categories, where some of them are hard-coded, like moving cohorts between legions or detaching a siege force, while others are fully 100% done through our script. Reorganizational. Create new unit. Allows you to create a new unit and transfer cohorts / ships to it or back. Consolidate. Merge cohorts of the same type, then disbands the empty cohorts. Detach siege, leave behind a large enough force to siege or occupy the current city. Split half, splits the unit in half. Recruit 2, opens up the recruit window so you can recruit cohort / ships directly to this unit. They will automatically march and merge to this unit. Disband for when you don't want that unit anymore. Please be aware that cohorts that are loyal to its commander will not be possible to reorganize away from that commander. Now that's all pretty generic copy-paste from EU4, except for that little bit right at the end there where cohorts or regiments, whatever you would like to call them, looks like they're gonna stick with cohorts for this, is not possible to reorganize away from that a commander they're loyal to. So they will they'll be personally loyal to a commander, which is very historical and very interesting in terms of a in-game mechanic. Toggles. We have select objective. Can select an objective for this unit and it will perform it without further input from you. More details in a later Dev Diary. Allow attachment. Allow other nations' units to attach to this one. Cav skirmish. Trades defense for offense on light cav and camels. Phalanx. Slower movement for armies while heavy infantry defense is much stronger. Adma Vyuha. Slower movement for heavy infantry defense and archer offense. That one I'm unfamiliar with. Unit reorganization, double maintenance and slow movement speed, but units reinforce and morale recovery is much faster. Without using this, units recover slower than in previous games. Force march, heavy attrition, no morale recovery while moving much faster. Some of these are unlocks by different military traditions, and some of them are always available. And some toggles have a small military power cost. Actions. Attach / detach to unit. Attach / detach another unit present in the city. Shattered retreat gives the order for this unit to perform a shattered retreat. This is handy if you want to save the remnants of your army trapped deep in enemy territory or when you are cut off by hostile forces. Construct a border fort. Creates a colony in an unowned city bordering you, adding 1 freeman pop of your culture and a fort for military power. Desecrate holy site. Spend religious power in another nation's capital to reduce their omen power for a long time. Raise levies. Spend military power to get more cohorts to this unit. Military colony. Spend military power points to create a freeman pop of your culture / religion in the current city. Raid a city. Spend military power to get gold and manpower from an enemy city. Build a road. Spend military power to build a road towards the next city the army moves to. Some of these are unlocks by different military traditions, and some of them are always available. Modding support. So making lots of these scriptable was possible due to the new super powerful scripting tools from Gemini, which is the game mechanics layer we have on top of the Clausewitz these days. We have some nice new ways to get dynamic values in effect like this in the rating mechanics. You can basically access any trigger from any scope you can switch to as a value and modify with another. And we have an example of some code here. If you have never written code before, this will all be Greek to you. If you have, maybe it'll make sense. I've written a little bit of code in my past, so it makes a little bit of sense to me. For any of those of you that modded previous games and know about city character and country scopes, will be happy to know that Imperator has those and far more, like unit scope, pop scope, party scope, etc. Next week, we'll be back with a look at the technology system. Here is our picture for the day. We only have one today. There was no sneak peek from Johan this week. We have the 8th Legion, which looks to be 20,000 strong. Well, now I'm confused. Legion number 1. Roman numeral for 8. Interesting. But anywho, it looks like these are all of the different buttons for all the different military things you can do with your army. And there are a few of them, which I think is pretty exciting, as there's lots of things you can do with your armies now other than just fight. And you can see it is not possible for the to do a military colony here because the tradition to do it is not unlocked. But it would cost 25 military power points. And a Roman freeman would appear in Rome. So that's the military colonies is troops that finish their service would be, you know, part of their payment, part of their retirement package was usually some land. And the military would never, when you signed up your contract, you wouldn't be told where that land was. It's not like you're going to get this many acres, you know, in Tuscany or in Apulia or, you know, in Rome or something like that. They would just say, this is what you'll get. You'll get a homestead somewhere. And what they would take is they would, because legions were raised en masse and they were retired en masse. I think originally it was 16 years and then later it was 20 and then later on that 22 and 24 I think was the terms of service. So you were in for a long time. So, you know, a legion would be raised all at once and then dismissed all at once. So they would all of a sudden, you know, have thousands and thousands and thousands of people to do something with, and they would set up military colonies. They would go to an area where they thought that it would be good to have trained military personnel and be like, you all get land right here, new city. So that's kind of what the military colony is doing. All right, so let's actually discuss some of this. So, like, right up at the top here, all of this is just generic EU4, which is fine because it works. It works. But the bottom 2/3 of this is where things get a little bit more interesting. So these are toggles for your army. Now, the one that'll be really familiar is Force March and Allow Attachment, because those are right out of EU4 as well. But these other ones are really interesting, like Cavalry Skirmish. You have a heavy cavalry army, you can turn that on, and you trades defense for offense. So your cavalry armies will be better at like quick strike tactics. Phalanx, your armies will move slow, but they'll be stronger in the defense. Unit reorganization, double maintenance and slower speed, but they reinforce faster. This is all really dynamic stuff. This is pretty cool. I'm really excited for these toggles. But they're pretty straightforward. It's usually just trading one thing for another, trading money for maintenance, trading attrition for speed, trading offense for defense, defense for offense. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's really nice to be able to have those toggles available to you. And hopefully what'll happen is a lot of these will unlock. Like Force March in EU4, I think unlocks about, what, 50-60% of the way through the game or something like that. I would hope some of these would unlock sooner than that. Like, maybe, definitely Phalanx. That was pretty common at this period in history. But anywho, down to the actions. This is all pretty new, and it's all pretty interesting. The ability to use Shattered Retreat as an option is very interesting. If you're not paying close enough attention, you can have your armies wiped out. But if you are paying attention, you can Shatter Retreat your armies voluntarily back to your territory, which is pretty cool. Constructing border fort creates a colony in an unowned city bordering you and adds a freeman pop of your culture and a fort for military power. That's pretty cool. I think it's kind of like military colonization, it seems like. It's very interesting. Desecrate a holy site. I think that one's going to be real fun in multiplayer games. March to another player's capital, desecrate their holy sites, and then GTFO. Oh man, that sounds funny. Raise levy, spend military pounds to get more cohorts to this unit, so you can trade your points for a quick burst of new men. Military colonies, I think, is going to be something that'll be used a lot. Spend military power points to create freeman pop of your culture/religion in the current city. So you can go to other people's places and be like, my people live here now. Raid a city, get golden manpower. That's going to be something I think will be used a lot. And the build a road thing, I think, looks really interesting. So you tell them to go to a place and build a road behind you. Spend military power points to build a road from one place to another. That would be really useful to be able to dynamically build roads like that. I think that's really nice. But that's going to be it for the day, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This Dev Diary in particular, like a lot of the ones for the last month or so, I've been kind of like, this is just, you know, basic EU4 stuff that they've brought over. It works, but we are all aware of it, and it's nice, but it's nothing new or anything like that. But this one is a lot of new things and a lot of very interesting things. I really like that the armies are going to be much more dynamic than they are in EU4. For instance, the military units being personally loyal to specific commanders, and that commander potentially getting too powerful and having all these loyal cohorts behind him. And it's like, okay, but he's my best leader. I need him to win this war. But the more battle he wins, the more loyal they get, and it might lead to problems for me down the line. That kind of thing, that kind of dynamic interaction with the characters in the game is something I really, really like. And all of these buttons, not just the normal EU4 stuff, but all of the toggleable stances, which that seems like something pulled from, because there was stuff like that in Rome 2 Total War, and I mean, it's not like that hasn't existed in previous Paradox games, but that is definitely something, and maybe it's just because of it's both Rome stuff, that seems like a parallel to that. Because I remember, I never played a lot of Rome 2 Total War because I didn't really like the game that much, but I remember there being stances that you can set on your armies. Now, I'm not saying that Paradox is ripping off Total War, not in the slightest, because I don't really like Total War these days at all. The last one I liked, I'm on a tangent now, but the last one I liked was Shogun 2. But anywho, and then all this stuff is just so great. So many things you can do with your armies. All those buttons, options. I love it. But anywho, like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We'll talk about this, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye.